What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Wednesday, July 19th edition of the MLB Sims video. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. We have an 8-game MLB slate tonight. No Coors Field. That was on the early slate. So it should be pretty interesting to see what we're getting as we simulate for DraftKings and see what's showing up early on in the afternoon for tonight's main slate MLB contest. Again, a lot of offenses that are in good spots. They look pretty similar. A lot of pitching that looks pretty similar. So should get some interesting results. And we're going to walk through and take a look at what's showing up. If you haven't already signed up to use the Sims tool and you would like to, check out the link below this video, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Twitter. It will be there. $60 a week or $180 for the month, whichever you prefer. It will elevate your DFS game. If you are someone that plays a reasonable amount of volume to where the pricing makes sense, there's nothing I would recommend more than using this tool. It brings everything together: projections, ownership, range of outcomes, all the different things that we talk about in our content. It's going to bring all of that together and show you the best ways that you can use it to attack your MLB DFS contests. So check out the link below this video if you're interested and take advantage of that. Now, starting with the lineups themselves, we have them sorted here by simulated ROI. So I simulated, as usual, 2,000 lineups. They're all 5-2 stacks. Used Fantasy Cruncher to do that. Uploaded those lineups. Also made sure that the individual player exposures are similar to what we are projecting their ownership to be. Uploaded my projections here using the custom projections tab. If you're using this tool and you want to use ours, that's easy. You just uncheck that box. So we are going to walk through now, starting with the first lineup here. 5-man Arizona stack, 2-man Tigers. We have Luis Castillo and Yu Darvish as pitchers. Castillo is going to be really popular tonight, and for good reason, as he takes on the Twins in Seattle. Now, the Mariners pitching has let us down over the last couple of games, but Castillo is very good. Highest strikeout percentage on the slate. Best pitcher's park, good strikeout matchup. Yu Darvish has a more difficult matchup as he takes on the Blue Jays, but as a result, he's only projected for around 12 or 13% ownership. He still gives you a high ceiling, and he's relatively inexpensive, so that's going to allow us to differentiate a little bit. And then we're going to get to a high upside Arizona lineup. They have a tough matchup against Charlie Morton, but it's still a dangerous lineup. Here we're getting to Gabby Moreno, Christian Walker coming off of a 2-home run game, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll coming off of another really big game, and Jake McCarthy. And then we are using 2 Tigers that are reasonably priced in Matt Vierling and Javi Baez. Oswald Peraza also offering us some value from the Yankees. Next, we have a 5-man Yankee stack with a 2-man Toronto stack, Morton and Carlos Rodon. So no Luis Castillo in this one. You're getting to Morton against the Diamondbacks and Carlos Rodon taking on the Angels. He's only $8,500. He threw 88 pitches last start. He should be a popular pitcher tonight for good reason. The 5-man Yankee stack is pretty inexpensive. Here we have Trevino, Torres, Peraza, Volpe, and Cabrera. So that's going to open it up for us to get to good one-offs or a good mini stack as well. And you can see that here. Vlad Guerrero and George Springer, 2-man, going up against Darvish, who has had some issues with right-handed power this year. And then a Fernando Tatis one-off, one of the best hitters in baseball, one of the highest upside plays that you have. Next, we have another Arizona 5-man, followed by a San Francisco KC lineup. The Giants are taking on the Reds again tonight in Cincinnati. Cheap San Francisco lineup, pretty good spot. Great hitter's park, the best in baseball outside of Coors Field, which isn't on this slate, and they're inexpensive. So we're able to once again get Castillo and Darvish, giving us plenty of upside at pitcher. Bailey, Wisely, Peterson, Conforto, and Yastrzemski, the 5-man stack from the Giants. Bobby Witt and Maikel Garcia, 2 good, strong plays from the Royals. A weak offense overall, but Garcia's cheap at $3,200. Witt relatively inexpensive at $4,800 as well. And then we have the Shohei Ohtani one-off. Obviously, that's always going to be a strong play. So one thing that stands out overall when you look at the individual lineups at the top, you're seeing a lot of different 5-man stacks here. It's a bit different than yesterday where you had Houston just being pushed to the top. Obviously, that didn't work out. But yesterday it was a situation where most teams were getting not necessarily similar ownership. Houston was getting the most ownership, but Houston wasn't getting enough ownership that it made that it was concerning, and they were actually projected to be a bit under-owned. So we saw Houston stacks just getting pushed up. Today you have the top teams on tonight's slate are not separating the same way Houston was. And so you're getting a flatter amount of, or flatter exposure to different stacks. Now we're going to select the top 150 lineups and look at the individual stack exposures, looking at the 5-mans. The Yankees at the top. That's not very surprising. They're not a great offense, but They do have a pretty good matchup tonight against Chase Silseth, who has been struggling at AAA recently, and they're very affordable in a good hitter's park. So, like we saw in that 5-man stack that we looked at, not only are you getting a relatively high upside spot because of the matchup and the park, but you're able to get good pitching and good hitting around them. So, a lot of these Yankees 5-mans are going to get pushed up. The Mets coming in second, that's a little bit surprising. Tough ballpark, but it is a high upside spot for the Mets. And they are not going to be overly popular. Right now in our top stacks tool, we have them actually fourth in top stack percentage, and they are getting a similar amount of ownership. So not really going over owned, not going under owned. They're taking on Touki Toussaint, who has good stuff. He's been good at limiting power throughout his career, but he's also inconsistent. He can struggle with control, put a lot of guys on base. So makes sense to see that we are getting to the Mets. The Tigers are cheap. You're never going to be too excited about getting to them, but they're inexpensive. So again, you can make very good lineups around them. The Giants are in a great spot in Cincinnati. Arizona's got a tough matchup with Morton, but they're a really high upside offense. Atlanta is notable here that we're only getting 6 to 7%. They are arguably the most likely team to succeed on this slate. Right now, they are first in top stack percentage, just ahead of the Giants, but they're very expensive. So it's not to say that you shouldn't be getting to Braves bats. It's just really difficult on this slate to get full 5-man Atlanta stacks where you're getting to the best hitters in their lineup because they're so expensive. Now, if we look at the players individually, Charlie Morton coming in at the top, 41% exposure, 25.5% projected ownership. So we are quite a bit over the field there. We're right around the field on Castillo, as you can see over here. Ronald Acuna, 35% owned. That is our highest owned hitter. So as I said, we are happy to get to the Braves where we can. It's just more likely to be 2-mans and one-offs. If you there's no column here for 2-man, so we can't see it, but it's likely that you're getting a lot of 2-man Atlanta stacks and just, Acuna one-off, Riley one-off, whatever it may be. Peraza showing up a ton here. Second base, third base, very inexpensive, very easy to get him into lineups, whether it's a Yankee stack or a more expensive stack where you need the value. Yu Darvish, again, we're about double the field on him. Pitching tonight looks pretty. A lot of the pitchers look pretty similar, so it does make some sense on these mid-range guys to maybe play a little bit more of the lower-owned guys like Darvish, maybe play a little bit less of the more popular guys like Verlander, and that's what we see here. We're still playing plenty of Verlander at 27%, but he has a 36% ownership projection compared to about 12% for Darvish. We're playing them in equal amounts, so as a result, we're getting well over the field on Darvish and getting a bit under the field on Verlander, coming in right around the field on Carlos Rodon. Mentioned Bobby Witt in one of those lineups earlier. You're not necessarily wanting to get to a lot of full Kansas City stacks, especially in a tough spot against Eduardo Rodriguez. But Bobby Witt individually as a shortstop option is going to look really good. Getting a bit over the field here on Barrios. Again, another one of these mid-range pitchers that just isn't very popular, so it's not difficult to get over the field. Austin Riley, over the field on him, even though we're not getting to a ton of Atlanta stacks as a 5-man. Same goes for Albies. Shohei Ohtani showing up a lot. So definitely getting to a lot of good 2-mans and one-offs in addition to the cheaper stacks that we're getting to, like the Yankees. Looking at the pitchers a little bit closer specifically, already talked about the ones at the top. Looking now to see if we're getting substantially under the field on anybody. Looks like our biggest fade right now would be Eduardo Rodriguez, getting around 7%, 18% projected ownership. He's got a good matchup against KC. He's a good pitcher. He is very expensive, though. He's $9,500, I believe. So it's just a situation where you're saving some money going to pitchers that are a little bit less expensive than him. So again, a lot of pretty spread out hitting exposures. We're able to get to some very good one-offs and 2-mans if you use cheaper 5-man stacks and differentiating, using the mid-range pitching to differentiate, maybe getting a bit below the field on the more popular guys, getting a bit over the field on the less popular guys like Darvish. Looks like a pretty good approach here that will allow you to get to some popular bats without having to worry too much about the ownership. So that's all I have for you for right now. If you are looking to use this tool for your own lineups, again, check out the link below this video. Could not recommend it more. It's the most useful thing you could do to improve your DFS game right now. And other than that, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and good luck on your lineups tonight.